Assalamu alaikum. Myself, Sadaf, Future Architect Valley, and I am the part of Rehan AI Teacher Training. Today, I am here to give a review on a TED Talk on Stop Teaching, Start Learning, and it's by Maryapan Jawaharlal, a Sri Lankan. Uh, I think of his talk as a journey from pressure, prison, and to passion. I have listed down a few points from his speech. The first one is the social trap. There are three choices. In many cultures like Pakistan or the speaker's home, Sri Lanka, society creates a narrow funnel. If you aren't a doctor or engineer, you are labeled as failure. Then he talks about the horse with blinkers. Have you ever seen a horse? These are the blinkers which are uh, kept on his eyes so that he just have a limited vision. He says that students are just like the horse with blinkers who have limited vision, and he is asking about himself too. The speaker became an engineer not out of passion, but because the invisible pressure took away all other options. He calls this paying his dues like a prisoner, serving time rather than a student enjoying a journey. Now let's move towards the core problem. This core problem is uh, the studying versus learning paradox. Everyone wants education, but the speaker suggests that uh, for many students, studying actually feels like students are dying. The reason for education is most people pursue it for hope. What the hope is? It's hope for better job, hope for social status, hope for making parents proud, rather than the actual joy of gaining knowledge. Another point is how real learning works. It's a question that how real learning will work. He gives again the example of natural mastery, uh, that's walking and language. uh, Babies aren't taught to walk via PowerPoint. They fall 1,000 times and get up when they are ready. A 5-year-old masters complex language just by observing. But once teaching starts in school, that natural ability often slows down because the joy is replaced by fear of grammar and punishment. Then uh, Maryapan says that learning is satisfying. Uh, what it means? It means that true learning is like a light bulb moment. For example, cooking a new dish or solving a puzzle. It should feel good, not like an unpleasant task. Then he discussed the power of stories. It's a very powerful concept by Maryapan. Facts are boring, stories are sticky. He uses the Andy Grove story to show that if you wrap a lesson in a narrative, a child will remember it 15 years later. Now, first look at the strength of his speech. Then we'll come to the other critics. He masterfully uses the doctor, engineer, or failure trope uh, by framing education as a high stakes survival games rather than a journey of curiosity. He immediately uh, wins over anyone who grew up in a competitive Asian household. And his best evidence is the comparison between a child learning a language. Uh, it's an effortless, joyful mastery by age 5. And his best evidence is also of a student learning a language in school, it effectively proves that curiosity is biological, but schooling is often artificial. Um, by invoking Richard Feynman's, we explain it to a fifth grader rule. He strips away the ego of academia. He exposes a hard truth. Many educators hide behind jargon and complex equations because they don't actually understand the core why of their subject. But there is the how gap. While the talk is brilliant at identifying the symptoms, uh, disengaged students, rote memorization, it's lighter on the prescription. Engaging students through stories is a great start, but in a system built on standardized testing, teachers often feel they don't have the luxury of time to tell stories. Uh, if we take all these points in context of Pakistan now in 2026, the theme in this talk is arguably more urgent in Pakistan today than anywhere else in South Asia. Here is how the speaker's point collide with the Pakistani reality. The most important is the rote rut and exam board. In Pakistan, the teaching versus learning divide is it's systematic. The metric FSC system remains heavily dependent on rote memorization. As the speaker noted, teaching is for the test. In Pakistan, if a student writes an original creative answer that isn't uh, that he writes a creative answer that isn't in the textbook, they are often penalized by examiners. This kills the magic of learning before it can even start. The social hierarchy of degrees are matters in Pakistan. The doctor engineer obsession is still the dominant social currency in Pakistan. Despite the global tech boom, uh, many Pakistani parents still view BBA or arts degree as the third choice, the failure mentioned in the talk. This puts immense invisible pressure on 10-year-olds, leading to a mental health crisis among students who feel they are studying or, as he's saying, dying rather than learning. And comes the language paradox. The speaker's point about language is particularly sharp in Pakistan. We have a three-tier system. English medium, where English is taught as a status symbol. Urdu medium, the national standard, and regional language, often ignored in formal teaching because we teach English as a rigid subject of grammar and punishment rather than a tool for expression. Many graduates finish 16 years of education without being able to hold a confident conversation in the language, and they spend a decade studying. Now there is a shift in 2026. AI and digital learning. As we move through 2026, Pakistan is at a crossroad. With the rise of AI, teaching is becoming obsolete because information is free. The speaker's call to stop teaching is now a necessity. If a Pakistani teacher only provides facts that the students can get from a chatbot, that teacher is redundant. The role must shift to mentorship and storytelling, exactly as Maryapan suggests. Um, for a Pakistani audience, this talk serves as a liberation manifesto. It tells the students that their struggle isn't a lack of intelligence but a byproduct of a 600-year-old classroom model. In challenges, the Pakistani professor to step down from the podium and become a storyteller who spark hope rather than just delivering data. And at the end, now I ask you, does this review align with what you felt while watching the talk, or do you think the social pressure in Pakistan is even more intense than what the speaker described? I'll appreciate your thought. Thank you.